Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the And Both podcast. My guest is Kendra Koch. She's the founder of Divergently, a private community for late diagnosed neurodivergent women who want support, clarity, and a place that isn't the chaos of the internet. Kendra's work came to her through her own story, navigating burnout, health challenges, and a late diagnosis while working in Silicon Valley in the wellness world. And what she realized was that most women didn't need more information. They needed a place where the information actually makes sense, where you're not overwhelmed and you don't feel like you're doing it alone. I love this conversation because one of the things we talk about inside this episode is about not being the space for everybody on purpose and how that kind of really flies in the face of what a lot of things tell you, platforms, people tell you in the way that we build companies now, and how she's found that actually narrowing the focus and really tailoring to her audience and having a lot of guardrails in place has helped what she's built grow. And so I think that that's a really great perspective to keep in mind in all of this. And so without further ado, here's Kendra. Welcome to And Both, a podcast about what it really looks like to put yourself on the list while raising kids and doing all the other things life asks of you. I'm your host, Ashley Blackington, and on this show, you'll hear conversations with moms who are figuring it out in their own ways, plus a few solo episodes from me from time to time. It's not about having all the answers. It's about sharing stories, learning from each other, and knowing we don't have to choose between either or when we're living in the middle of and both. Let's get into today's episode. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the And Both podcast. My guest today is Kendra Koch. Kendra, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Ashley.
I'm excited. I'm excited to chat. You and I have met a little while back. I cannot remember all of the context around it, but how about if we start with you letting people know what you'd like them to know about you?
Yeah, sure. I am a mom. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm the founder of Divergently, which is a platform for late diagnosed neurodivergent women. We do community and we help women connect to all the resources they need so they're supported. I got there through my own wonky health journey and working in Silicon Valley wellness industry for over a decade. And yeah, now I'm just trying to do health and wellness a different way.
I love it. It's really cool. I love the fact that there's so much. I hate the word niche because I feel like niche is a bad term, and that's not what I mean. I mean, like there's such great ways of like being very pointed about that, about like the area that you're growing and building in that isn't actually niche in a bad way. It's just like there's a lot of people that could benefit from this. And so I think it's really cool what you're doing.
Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, I totally hear you on that word niche. It really bothers me. I'm like, nobody's a niche. It's the weirdest concept that we all have to box ourselves into like one topic so we can make sense on the internet. But
yes.
Yeah, there are a lot of women out there who got diagnosed with ADHD or autism or dyslexia or CPTSD later in life and just need to make sense of it. And that was my journey too. So
yeah, I think that's really cool. I guess that's the whole thing, right? Is like we have to make ourselves like clickable, but it's just inherently opposite of humans. Like we have all of these different parts to ourselves, but it's like, how do you SEO yourself as a human? But also like no one ever really fits in those boxes.
No. And those boxes to me get boring. I mean, I want to know about like all the cool things and all the people that I get to interact with in my life, or if I'm lucky enough, be friends with.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's really cool. So how old are your kids?
I have one. She's just turned 5. She's a wild, wonderful, magical little creature.
5 is fun. 5 is a time when it's like, you know, they start to really shine in all the ways. And some of it you're like, oh man, I've waited for so long to be able to do this. And other times you're like, I wish you were still really like packable. Like I could just pick you up and we could go to the like whatever it is we need to do. It's a juggle.
Yes. Yes. It was convenient to just pick them up. Like,
seriously.
You will come when I ask you to because I'm going to pick you up.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So you said that your journey of going through this yourself led to that, but like what was the thing that made you go from like, oh, I'm on this journey myself. I have this experience. How, like, I want to build something for other people who are also going through it. Like, what was the decision like for that?
Yeah, it's such a good question. And I'm asked something similar often, and I'm like still processing it, actually, I think. But it was less of a decision and more of I just sort of started doing it, and then it kept evolving and taking shape, and then it was almost this formed thing, and I'm like, okay, well, there's something here. I'm gonna keep going with it. And I think every day I wake up, I'm like, okay, there's still something here. I'm gonna keep going with it. So I didn't really like sit down and say, hey, I'm gonna build this thing. It was more like I had so many questions from my own life and journey, and also like so much that I had learned, and I wanted to almost like take it from out here in the universe and like my swirling thought process and bring it into something that felt like I could see it and hold it and like interact with it in a way that made sense. So the start of it for me was just taking all those different experiences that I had gone through and everything I learned through my career and also my own journey, and trying to get it down onto like one piece of paper. And then that piece of paper turned into like different technologies and some content and then it just sort of took form. And I also spent a good like 6 months talking to women and just learning from them. And so many of them had similar experiences to me. And I took all the themes out of that. And that's like what Divergently became. So I guess it evolved. Yeah.
I love there's like, feel really fortunate to be able to talk to a lot of women that are building really cool things. And so much of it comes out of the space of like, I'm trying to make sense of this for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of amass this like library of information or experience or whatever. And like, good part of the internet is you can reach out and talk to people, and it's anti-niche. It's like just somebody
Mm-hmm.
planting their flag and being like, does anyone else have this going on? And there's so much bravery in being the person that sticks your hand up and says, hey, this is my experience. Does anyone else have this going on? And so I think that's really cool to say, like, how about somebody else? What's going on for you? And then creating like really your own library of resources and things like that for people.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate you saying it was brave, because it felt more like, I don't even know. It felt like curiosity and desperation at the same time. It was like, I have to figure this out. I have to.
Mm-hmm.
But also there was, just like some kind of curiosity that I had. And also I feel like in my area specifically, like when we're talking about ADHD and autism and other forms of neurodivergence that are really stigmatized, a lot of people say like it's brave, but I think I have to also admit that I was in a place where I could be more public about that stuff. Like I think earlier points in my career, I would have not done it. I just like, it would have felt too risky. And so it was almost just like a luck of timing where I didn't have a boss that I had to answer to. I had left like my previous startup. I was like reconsidering how I wanted to be like in the workplace and in my career anyway. And so I felt like I had the safety to publicly reach out and say those things. Yeah, I don't know if that makes any sense, but I feel like people are always like, it's so brave. And I'm like, well, it is, but also I could,
And I think that's like, something that's so helpful for other people to hear is that, if you're not in that position, that's okay. And like acknowledging that. Cause I think, I do think a lot of times people that have that opportunity to stand up, to speak out, to leave, whatever it is, that transition, because there is some sort of safety net in place, people don't acknowledge that. So I think that's really helpful for other people to hear, because, it's sort of like this idea of, one entrepreneur is not equal to another entrepreneur, because you may have different experiences, different backing, different supports, different all of that stuff. So it's not like one person is doing it the right way because they did this, this, and this. And so being open about the fact that like it comes from a place of, like you said, having support and having a certain level of safety that allows you to do that is really important to acknowledge.
Yeah. I feel like you're touching on something that comes up so often, which is how easy it is to compare yourself. And I get there a lot. Like I'll go on LinkedIn. I'm like, oh my God, everybody's so amazing. And I'm so behind or whatever it is. But, or yeah, like this entrepreneur is doing X, X, and X. So I should do those 3 things to get the result that they have. But it so mirrors the health journey that I went through too. And even like a parenting journey of, you can see all the things people are doing and all the advice that's out there and all the best practices that are out there, but without the context of how they were done and when and why and what were the decisions behind them and what were the limiting factors and all of the things that are swirling through your head when you're trying to figure out, where to put your kid in school or which specialists you need to see or like which technology you need to put in your tech stack. It can be so easy to make the wrong decision or make a decision that seems like it's the right thing, but then really struggle through it to follow through on it and have it actually work.
I think too, like when they consider everything that we see is so curated nowadays, like whether it's an algorithm or whether it's like a network of people that are like around us and sort of in that area or in that space, like we still aren't always getting the whole picture of what's available. And that like to keep that in mind, like this person might be using, this product or this whatever, but that doesn't mean that's the only thing there. It just means that this person is the most vocal about it. And so like, again, like if you're the most vocal, it doesn't necessarily mean you're doing the right thing. It could just mean that you don't have that same level of like, do I post this? Do I not post this? Like, sweaty palms hitting enter on the keyboard kind of thing. It's just, you're just like, get out of here.
Yeah. Or you are sponsored and you're getting a check for it.
I do appreciate that a lot of that stuff now, like they have to say this is like sponsored content or whatever, because that was the Wild West of information and ideas. And, people, it's like the social proof of having lots of people follow you or lots of people connected with you and being like, this person really has it figured out. And you're like, do they though?
That's a good question. Do they though?
Yeah. Yeah, right? Like, what does it look like? There was someone a friend of mine that, I talk to them kind of from time to time. It's not like we don't live in the same town or whatever. And I saw they posted something the other day and it was like all of the like the wins but they also posted like a not win, like definitely a 2 thumbs down experience that happened alongside of that. And it's so refreshing to see those things because people don't share the ugly parts, right? It's like lost contract, 200 connections, like to get someone to answer the phone or, whatever, all of that stuff. So I feel like that's having its moment right now because everyone's like, it can't just be good. Like on a LinkedIn post or another social media where like, it can't just really be sunshine and rainbows all the time. Can it?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. So Divergently is resources. Like tell me about like how do people come into contact with you and the ecosystem and all of that? Like what does that look like?
Yeah, it's been really organic. I think it started with just what I was talking about earlier, all those interviews. I just put a post out on LinkedIn saying, hey, I'm thinking about this. How many people have an experience with it? Can I talk to you? I talked to 10 people and then those 10 people kind of referred me out to more people and I talked to 10 more. And then 6 months went on and I talked to a couple hundred people. So it started there. And then a lot of it is from social media. Like I just try and post. It's kind of a combination of like my journey or what I'm thinking about or what I'm working on, mostly on LinkedIn. But I experimented with TikTok, which was great. but I just don't like TikTok. So, I mean, I should probably do it more. It was working, but I just really don't enjoy it. And then I used Threads for a while, which also was really great. I think like one thing I learned from all of that was the kinds of people that come through each channel are very different, even if the content is sort of similar. So I've been trying to pay more attention to that of like, who am I getting? Because the space is like a really special place. I think like one of the things that was really important to me at Divergently was making sure it didn't have all of the negatives that you get on social media, like trolling and bots and ads and kind of like this really, while on one hand it's sort of like addicting and I don't know, fun experience of like getting all kinds of things in your face. It was also really disorienting for me when I was trying to get information because I was like, okay, this post is good, but it's 30 seconds long. Like what else is there about this topic? And then the next post in my feed was like a makeup tutorial or like how to cook something or like dogs spinning around in circles. You know, it's just like really hard to control what you're seeing. I feel like that is just not like one, having ADHD, like it's kind of a dangerous place to put your headspace. And two, like it gets overwhelming really fast. And it made it really difficult for me to get the information I needed and make sense of the information I was seeing. And so right now, like I'm kind of experimenting with like finding ways for people to find me that are the kinds of people that don't want that experience, that want to come and actually connect with each other and want like vetted, accurate information.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's gotta be, that's a whole thing too. I feel like there's so much that all of these channels are all different. Everyone is trying to like swim to the top of the chart, but it's like, there's no rhyme or reason. Like I definitely have gone into those spaces where it's like, you put something like I'll post something for this show, like an episode that's coming up or, you know, something like that. And then I look up and it's been 20 minutes and I'm like, it definitely didn't take me 20 minutes to do that. And like, how do you even, yeah, you can just totally just lose your whole day in there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like an 8-hour thing or whatever, but it's that you get like off track and especially like as a founder, you've already got a million things that are coming at you anyway, saying this is the most important thing that you have to do right now. And like, how do you envision that somebody who's also having those feelings is going to find somebody who's like, I get it. I like really, really get it on a neurodiverse level. Here's how I can help you. Like that seems like a massive undertaking just to find the right traffic.
Yeah, it kind of is, and it kind of isn't. Like, I think part of it's messaging and part of it is just trust. Like, trusting that the way it happened with those initial interviews is like, I got 10 people and then they brought more people. And, you know, after working in marketing for most of my career, I will always believe that word of mouth is the best marketing. And if you get like your first 10 people are really good, solid people that are a great fit for whatever you're building, the people they recommend are probably going to be a good fit too. Whereas if it's like anyone off the broader internet of billions of people, then, you know, you just don't know. And I think like also I spend less time thinking about like where to get traffic and more like, how do I make sure that the people who come here really want to be here? So it's like putting in almost like barriers. This is going to sound really weird as a business owner, but like I actually put in like barriers to accessing my business in a way. It's like you have to fill out an application to join. You have to pay to join. Like you're not just going to click a button and like be part of it, you know? So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think an investor would really like me saying that, but as like a founder, I feel really good about it because I just know the people who come want to be there. And there are also probably people that are more likely to stay.
I like that idea of like trying to make sure without saying, you know, without really saying openly, like, do you even belong here? because of this, this, and this? Like, do you want to have access? I was looking at a platform the other day, and it's sort of in a similar wheelhouse to like what I do for work, but they had, it had like flipped on its head. It was people that want to advertise to the people that would be a part of the platform are the ones who have to pay, so that the people that use a platform get to use it for free. And I thought, okay, that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Where, you have that community of people that are looking for resources specific to this thing. And then you have to have like those companies that want to go a step further to fill that out. But I can totally see where like a potential investor would be like, don't you just want to have everybody in there? But then that also blows up the whole point of the platform itself.
Yeah, totally. And the other thing too is like, it's really weird to be saying I'm building a space for inclusion that's in a way like designed to exclude.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think you can have true inclusion if you don't have some boundaries, right? Like the internet is really inclusive. Anyone can make an account and get on. And even if there's age limits or whatever, like they're easy to get around. You'd need an internet connection basically to do it. You don't even need a computer or phone. You could like go to a library. But then you get these experiences that are really diluted, right? And I think like that isn't good for the people who join. So in a way, excluding is still benefiting the people who don't participate, because if they came, they wouldn't be getting what they needed. Like it wouldn't be for them. And so it would be a waste of their time and a waste of their money. And like, I'd rather send those people to the right resources that are a better fit for them, and then really serve the people who are coming to me with the things that I can help with. Because like, I don't know everyone's experience. I can only help with a narrow set of experiences that I have expertise in. And I don't want to claim that like I can solve every neurodivergent person's problems. I cannot. Yeah, I think it's like a different way of thinking about marketing, but it's been helpful.
Yeah. I love the idea of like really in any group setting, if it's just sort of a free for all, then you're not really going to get down to another level, because you always kind of exist at the surface level. But where you have like the closer you get to the reason why people are there, the more alignment that you're going to find. I like that way of thinking about it. Because too, like if you have someone who's out there who's like really looking for support, they're really looking for resources, and everything on your like the page and the application and all of that stuff is great and wonderful, and then they get into the space and now it's kind of like, oh well, everyone's here. Like how do you differentiate yourself? So what kind of things do you have in the platform? Like what does the space look like?
Yeah, so there's a community space, so it's similar to like forums where you could talk about different topics, but then we also have information that is really guided. So if you're at the beginning of your journey, for example, like you think you might need a diagnosis, or something that's really common for our members is that one of their kids gets a diagnosis and then they're going through the diagnostic criteria or the evals and they're thinking like, this is all normal because this is the same as for me too. And, and then that kind of sets off their own diagnosis journey, because there is like a very large genetic component to neurodivergence. So if you're there and you're like, I don't know what I need next, I don't know if I need to go get a diagnosis or if I just need resources or I just want to learn more, like we can start you at the beginning of that journey. And then there's also like a lot of women who are navigating perimenopause and menopause, which can be like sort of the catalyst for needing a diagnosis or needing to retool even if you already have one, because just like the hormone effect can really dramatically affect symptoms like memory, executive functioning, and things like that. So we have information on like how to navigate that. And then we also like, I think the underlying kind of philosophy is we'll provide the information and we'll provide the peer support, but information's not enough, right? Like throughout most of my career, it was always like, we need to provide education on how to eat better, cook better. We need to provide education on this. It is like, sure, like you can get all the information in the world, but if you can't execute on it, if you can't actually apply it to your life, nothing's going to happen. So the community space has that education, but it also has spaces to help you apply it. So we have like workshops with experts or like with our team. If you need to go get that diagnosis, but scheduling the appointment and filling out all the paperwork is a barrier for you, will help you walk you through it. So you can come to like a body doubling session, which is like essentially co-working, and you can fill out that paperwork, or you can meet with like one of our team and we can help you with it. So it's really meant to be a place where you can get the information and the tools to make changes in your life at like the various stages you're going through.
I love the body doubling just all on its own. I think that's really cool because I think that that's such an important thing that gets overlooked in a lot of situations, but especially when you're talking about a neurodiverse individual. You know, you can like educate until the cows come home, but if there's no like next step, or the next step is like, it feels too big, it's like, I don't even know where to begin, yada yada, like that is such a valuable resource for people to be able to say, hey, I know this is huge and this is your stuff and you have to do this, but like I'm here to sit with you in that moment. That's really, really smart. Really. I really, again, like that's amazing.
Thanks. Yeah. I mean, part of it came too from what we were talking at the beginning of like having the safety and space to disclose, because a lot of the women don't have that, or they don't really have somebody they can go to and say, I'm struggling with this, or I'm trying to figure out this part of my health journey or my mental health journey, or like the challenges I'm having at work. You know, they don't want to bring it to work because they don't want to get fired or get pushed off of projects or be stigmatized. A lot of them don't necessarily like have the space to talk to it with their parents, because maybe they're elderly and they're caring for them, or their parents are not alive anymore. Their parents are not accepting of their diagnosis. And so part of it was just like, if you don't have anywhere else to go beyond it, like being difficult and needing help, but like also if you don't have anywhere else to go, you can come here. And it's a like contained space, it's private, like you don't have to worry about the whole internet knowing. And I think that has been really important too, because like one of the things that comes up all the time in the neurodivergent community is that everybody should just disclose. And I don't think that's true.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what you were saying before. Like if you don't have the safety or the stability or the, I don't know, soft place to land when it comes to disclosing, you're asking someone to do something that feels like climbing Everest, when for you, like whoever you are, maybe, you know, no big deal, right? Because of the community that you're a part of, because of the career that you have, because of all of those factors. Today's episode is brought to you by Dovetail, the app that's changing the way families navigate caregiving. If you're juggling your kids' schedules, checking in on your parents, and trying to manage your own needs, Dovetail is made for you. I built Dovetail as a clinician and caregiver who saw firsthand how overwhelming this role can be and how much lighter it feels when the care is shared. Download Dovetail now on iOS, Google Play, coming soon. How do you find experts and people to come in and teach and talk and sort of hold the workshops and stuff like that?
Yeah. It's also been really organic. Like a lot of people have just found my writing and connected with me. Sometimes I'm just like doing internet searches and looking for people on specific topics. I have a really incredible advisory board. They are super well connected with experts. I have one who's a university professor and a social researcher. I have a therapist. I have somebody who worked in corporate for a really long time, and one who was like very involved in the media. So she was like the former chief technologist of Good Housekeeping. Her name is Rachel Rothman. So yeah, so lots of like just really incredible people that are kind of looking out for people who are a good fit. And then sometimes a member, like a community member will say, hey, have you heard of like so-and-so? I loved their podcast or I loved their book. And then, I'll look into that too. So it's just been like a kind of a process of curating and connecting and learning from the members of what topics they're interested in or stuff they're bumping into.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything that you're surprised by, like if you sort of poll the members and you say like, what would you like to have more about? Like, is there anything that's come up that you're like, oh, wait a sec, I didn't even think about it, but I didn't realize this would be as high up on the list as it is?
I'm not sure if it was like a huge surprise, but I think it's like been really settling with me more and more about how much trauma comes up.
Mm-hmm.
Like I knew it was a factor, but the different ways it's coming up and the different places it's coming up and the questions people have around it are a lot like richer than I anticipated. And also I guess the part of it that was more on the surprising side is how open and willing people are to deal with their trauma. Like understand it, connect with it, relate to it, heal from it. Like it's not been as heavy as I expected for a topic like that. It's almost like this very curious, engaged, hopeful way of like holding pain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's been really cool and beautiful and also like challenging.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot to sort of navigate, or like, you're trying to put resources into place to help people, and it's like, holy cow, this whole like fireball of stuff has come down the line, and like, how do I make sure that this space stays safe, and that there are the resources that they may need for a different experience. But I do feel like the world now, like, it's one of those things, like, because there is so much trauma, it's easier to talk about trauma, but also, there's a lot of people who are like, I don't want this to be. I think it's the shame. It's like the elimination of shame, or the tamping down of it. Like there might still be a part of it, but people are more willing to be like, I think I'm supposed to like, someone might make me feel like I'm supposed to feel bad about this or whatever, but I don't, because this is my experience. And I don't want, when you're in a community of other people, you can say like, I had this happen and I don't want other people to feel like this, and this. And that comes from, like you said, creating the boundaries around who is involved in that community. Because you don't want a troll in there, like bouncing around telling everyone horrendous things.
Yeah, definitely not. And it might happen at some point, but we'll deal with it if it does, But actually, I have only encountered really lovely human beings for the most part outside of social media. So that's been pretty great. Yeah.
Yeah. That's got to feel good too, right? It's like you're doing something that has a level of like, not risk, but a level of exposure, and to have it be well received, and to have it like positively looked upon and shared and all that, right? Like can you imagine if you put it out like, I want to talk to 10 people and like 2 people were like, sure, then it's like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Where do I go from here?
Yeah, I don't know. It might have not gone anywhere if that's what happened. Like I think I had a feeling that there was something there because of my own experience, but then having so many people validate it by saying like, me too, and this is how it went for me. And like, I cannot even tell you how many of those conversations we were both crying in, which was crazy. I'm like, how often do you like interact with completely new people and then you're just like having the conversation at that level where you're just like completely emotionally open, and that one that they trusted me enough to be that vulnerable with me. And also, I don't even know if it was completely trust. It was like, I really want things to change. And if you're a person who also wants that, like, I'll take the risk, And then finding more and more and more women like that who are like, the world is not working for me. The world's not working for my kids. And it's like, we can't change the whole world, but we can change our own worlds, like, and that was like part of my healing journey was like, I can't change the world. I can't like fix all of the problems in the healthcare system that are making it hard for me to find care. I can't magically come up with like all this money to get like all the best longevity medicine on the planet. I can't, like there were just so many things I felt like were out of my control and that were like making me angry. And anytime you open up social media, it's also like that. There's like so many problems, right? And it's like you want to fix them all. But then I realized, oh, I can make small changes. Like I can put clear bins in all my cabinets so that I can find stuff when I'm trying to find something when I'm cooking, right? Like, okay, that took a little stress out of my day. I can talk to somebody who understands what I'm going through. Okay, that took a little stress out of my day. I can lower my expectations in this area so that I'm not putting so much pressure on myself. Okay, that took some stress out of my day. And then like, it's just like a constant practice of changing my own world, like my internal world and my external environment. And then I'm like, okay, now I feel like I'm in a good place and I can help other people do that too. But I did have a point where I put it out there and I got kind of scared that it was too risky. I mean, I did have that moment at the beginning of the year because like neurodivergence it's still like so politicized, right? And then there was so much fear right when I launched and we had the election and all of like the political landscape just like changed overnight. And I did have some people who wrote content for me reach out and say, can you take my name off that article? And like that was interesting to go through.
Yeah. I mean, because it's such a like a curiosity driven thing. And then to have someone say like, I'm sure that like the people that contributed were like, this is important and this is valuable, but then not being able to say, okay, yeah, you can have that on there. I mean, I think that's what I guess that's more of the bravery piece that I was alluding to earlier is like, given the context of the world right now, this feels suit of armor level because it's not something that you need to like be brave about in a regular context, but in such a polarized way of living, especially in the US right now, that it feels like, oh, okay, like we're still charging forward and doing that. But, to your point to your story of like talking to all of these different people and all of that, like having that experience, even in the context of all that's going on in the world right now, where people are like, no, this is like, I identify as this or with this, and I want it to get better. And I want there to be has got to feel really phenomenal that you're not only on the right track, but that you're also hitting it at the right time where those people run the massive risk of feeling further isolated and feeling further siloed and feeling further silenced with everything that's going on.
Yeah. I definitely had a moment where I was like, oh my God, this was the worst timing ever, like to launch this. I literally have a giant red logo. The name of my company is Divergently. I just put like a huge target on my back. And it took me some time to work through it. But yeah, the decision I ultimately came to was like, partially it's like the way I'm trying to approach it is holding space and nuance, which is like really rare on the internet. And I think you can only do it in a private community. So you can't really do it on social media because you just don't have time to like flesh out the context. But there's tools and there's information and there's resources. And whatever your belief systems are, those things will still work for you. So it's like, I don't really care if you are Republican or Democrat, or if you like have a certain religion or a certain culture. Like it's a super intersectional kind of community, and neurodivergence touches on any kind of human being like can have that experience. And so I thought like this almost has to exist because you can't go out in the world and like find a safe space right now if it's a public like if it's like a public space and you
Uh-huh.
can go get information from like a blog or something, but it only gets you so far. And if like publicly funded resources are drying up, like truly, where are people going to go? And how are we going to have conversations about these like topics that are so polarized if we can't talk about the topics, like in a safe adult way that allows people to have different viewpoints? So I'm saying this like from a purely, I want that to be the world and the space that I'm creating. Whether or not that's possible, we're going to find out because it's hard. Like I think I
Yeah.
spend a ton of time talking about that or like thinking about it, figuring out ways to do it. And I haven't solved it. So that's like my disclaimer for that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that leads into, I was going to ask, like, so in 5 years, like, where do you
Mhm.
see, where do you want this to grow, and what sort of direction are you looking at for Divergently?
Yeah, I think like everybody sort of sees it as a community space right now, which it is. And that's where I'm starting. But my vision has always been to be more of like a lifestyle brand. So if you think of like the neurodivergent population is quite large. There's estimates that say it's like 20% of the human population. And
Mm.
like women's diagnoses are doubled in the pandemic and are just going up and up. And then I don't think it's because of overdiagnosis. I really think that there were just so many women who were missed. So it's a big population, and it's like a really dramatically underserved population. Like most systems, most tools, most information is not designed with neurodivergent brains in mind. And so there's so many parts of your life where you bump into problems. And most of the solutions right now are like medical, right? It's like kind of treating neurodivergence as a mental health problem, but it's not really. It's like it affects your everyday. It affects like if you can get up in the morning and go to work, if you can get your laundry done, how you interact with your kids, how you feel in relationships. So to me, like I'm not really solving the problems that women have unless I'm considering their like entirety of their lives. And my like tagline or whatever is making life less prickly. And the kind of philosophy behind that is the neurodivergent experience is like being uncomfortable all the time and like constantly running into friction. And so my goal is to reduce some of that friction and help you be more comfortable in your day to day. I'm not trying to like necessarily radically like change the world or cure you. I don't think that people need to be cured or fixed. It's just like, how can we support you? So Divergently as a community is really like the starting point, and the vision is to build the tools and resources that are missing in the market. So we're more of a platform and like a incubator almost.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool. I think that, it's that idea of like businesses building in one direction, because it's like, this is the thing that's going to solve this, and this. Whereas you're coming at it from we have this, and this that we're working with. We're not going to solve it, but we're going to help alongside of it. And that's going to mean that we have a whole suite of things that need to be in the queue, so that different people even at different times can like call that into play and be able to lean on that. That's really cool.
Yeah, and we're really like an ecosystem. Like I have so many partnerships with brands, with other companies and providers that are serving this group of people. So it's definitely not something I'm like doing alone. I just feel like I'm the hub, and then there's all these spokes that will come out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but you're doing like in that space, you're doing the thing that is probably the most impactful, is that creating a spot where it isn't so noisy, and that it's really like the curation of it. How do you navigate building the platform and all of this stuff with, everything else that you have going on in life, right? Like you're a mom of a preschooler, you're a
Hmm.
human, you're,
Yeah.
all of these other roles and parts and pieces. How do you make that all work? Navigate. I don't say juggle anymore, but so,
Yeah, I appreciate that. That is a good way to put it. Yeah, that's been the hardest thing actually, is figuring out how and when to do stuff. My partner is a filmmaker, so he has like a most insane schedule. Like a lot of times he'll work nights or he'll work 18-hour days or he'll be traveling to be on set. And so I don't really have like predictability in when I'll have help from him or like, I mean, he's amazing and he's always very helpful, but he's like on set a lot of the time and not super reachable. So yeah, so that and like the being a mom part of I want to be a present parent and be involved in my daughter's life and like show up for her when she needs me. And that's, I'll admit, like a bigger job than I anticipated. She kind of needs me all the time. Yeah. How do I do it? I try to prioritization is like the biggest thing. I have to be so ruthless about what I do and what I don't do. And I'm not like great at that. So I get excited and I want to do everything. So I've just like really forced myself to make that part of my daily like practice of deciding what am I going to do today and what really makes an impact. Partnering with people has been really helpful because then I'm not doing it all alone and, they're taking on pieces that I maybe don't know how to do or don't have time to do. I also have I've delayed opening like the main space. Like I've extended my beta almost 6 months longer than I anticipated doing because of all the stuff we talked about before, like me feeling like I had a target on my back and like all this stuff coming up in my life. And this year was really challenging for me. I had like so many things come up that I wasn't anticipating that brought up my own like childhood trauma and grief. And like I had to work through those emotions. So I guess the how is like, I just won't quit. I'll do what I can in the time I have. And if it takes longer than I want it to, fine. But I'm not going to stop. And I just have to do my best to communicate to people like where I'm at. And I think I can be better about that too. But like, yeah, saying I'm delaying this part or we're not going to launch this part of the product or, like sometimes it's just saying no or I'm not going to do it now and letting it not be perfect. That's really hard for me too, but good enough is good enough, right? And then it can always improve.
Yeah. I think too, like probably also, is your good enough someone else's perfect? I think about that a lot. It's like, there's no bar, right? Like there's no agreed upon level of perfection. And so it's like, getting something out the door or not getting it out the door because you're not ready for it to be out the door. Like there's a lot of power in that to say, this doesn't look the way I want or feel the way I want it to feel. And I don't want to have it be in the space if it's not going to be there yet. But I applaud you very, very deeply on the not quitting piece because I think that's what happens when you can feel like you have to hit these milestones and at this time. And then if it doesn't work, it's like, well, I guess it's never going to work. Like it's really easy to just kind of, the ball rolls downhill a lot faster than it rolls uphill, say that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, like I did stuff like I took all my work stuff and put it on a separate phone, including social media, and I leave it inside of a drawer. So it's like, I just like was really brutal with myself. And I said, I'm not good about managing my time in these ways. And I have to find a system or an environmental solution for forcing myself to make a better choice because I just like can't do it on willpower. And so part of like me delaying opening was like setting up those things for myself so that when I do have the space like fully running and opening, like I'm not also fighting myself to show up and be there for the community and for my team and stuff. And so, yeah, it's sort of like a lot of it sometimes is an internal quiet process no one sees. And then when you get that stuff out of the way, everything else can move easier.
Yeah.
At least I hope so. I think it will. I didn't do that in any of the other companies I was part of before. And it always created problems down the line. So I think it's something I tried this time that is going to be better.
Yeah. I mean, it's forward progress and it doesn't always look like leaps and bounds. It can be about forward progress is figuring out how to take care of yourself in the process, and how to do things in a way that are in alignment with you and just you in general, whoever you are, but that you're really remembering that there's no way, like we said in the beginning, there's no right way to be a founder. There's no right way to launch a company. There's no, like, just launching the thing in whatever capacity that you have or that is ready or whatever that's the victory all in itself. It's not launching at this, and this stage, or growing at this, and this rate that makes it successful or not. I mean, how many people don't even put something out there?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I should remember that more. It's so easy to be really hard on yourself.
I know, like the Friday morning on LinkedIn is like that is not a good place for me, because it's just like, everyone's getting their like all the wins for the week out of the way as they like roll into the weekend. And I'm like, something will be delayed that I'm working on, or something, might not land right or whatever. And then it's really easy to go on and be like, wow, all of these people are really figuring it out. And I am out here like fish out of water. But that's not true. So just like no LinkedIn on Fridays.
Yeah. Or put it in a drawer. Yeah.
Yes. I love that idea. Because I just think it's so hard. Like everything is so in your face right now that you're probably, the muscle memory of like checking something or looking at something or referring to something is just, it's too tough to override sometimes. And that's not a bad thing. That is how it's designed to be. It's designed to own your time and to own your attention and all of that. So it's not like, oh, I'm really failing at this. It's like, no, this is too much and I need to stop that. So I really am envious of that as a strategy. I just want to get rid of all of my social media. I'm like, my kids ask me like, what is a marker of success? And the marker of success is that I own a flip phone and I have no social media and I have no email and no internet and whatever. I'm like, that sounds amazing. And they're like, but how would people, I'm like, you could call me, but I can't text you. Like, I want the ones where you have to hit the button 3 times to get to like an L or something like that. Oh, what a dream.
Yes. I feel like there's like small steps towards there you could take. Because I probably did it over almost like 6 months. I went through all my email and unsubscribed from everything I didn't want. And I still do it. Like if I see something, I'm like, do I really read this? No, unsubscribe. Like, it doesn't have to be all at once. And then with your phone, like before I got the idea to put everything on a separate phone, I just like every day would delete one app and then see how long it took me to like realize I needed it. And some I never needed again. So why were they on my phone? I don't know. They're like sending me notifications for stuff. Do I really need that? But it is like a hard switch to unflip, because you have to constantly ask yourself, and then new stuff comes in and you have to keep asking. It's not like a job you can really ever finish. It's more like a habit, I guess. But that was sort of my journey for 2025. Unsubscribe. That was a theme of 2025 for me.
I love that. People like have all these words that are like, I don't know, whatever, like health. And you're like, okay, what does that even mean? Unsubscribe? I get it. I think that's great. 2026 is coming right around the corner. Maybe that is my unsubscribe year. That sounds really exciting.
Have fun. It's pretty great. It's really freeing. I was like, wow, I thought I needed so much stuff I don't need. You realize like how much you can do with less. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty great. It's actually programming I'm putting together.
I love that, because it's actually like the space, like you're creating the space to be able to do those pieces. Genius. Now I'm thinking about all the things I can get rid of on my phone.
After you do it, let me know how you feel.
Yes. Preemptively, I'm very excited about this moment. I just have to actually go in and delete the things now and not feel like I need to put them back on. I know people that delete their social media like on Friday, like they take all the apps off and then they put them back on Monday. But I don't know that I have that. Would I circle back? I would have to for work, but I don't know. Seems like another step.
Yeah, it does. I don't think I could do that. That's why it goes in a drawer. It's out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
carry on. Oh my gosh, I love it. Well, I would love for you to let people know where they can find you, where they can get more information. If there are people out there, and I'm sure there are people out there that are listening to the show that are like, you know what, I've been looking for a space where it doesn't feel like, I answer one question, yes, and then all of a sudden this like troll or bot or whatever pops out of somewhere to tell me that there's something wrong with me. Like where can people find their soft landing space?
Yeah, it's joindivergently.com. And then I'm on social media at joindivergently for most platforms, but I will caveat that by saying I'm not super active on social media. All the stuff happens in the community and email. And if you want to connect with me personally, I'm on LinkedIn at It's Kendra Koch, Koch.
Awesome. I love it. Well, I hope that there's a lot of people that come from just hearing the story and hearing the experience, and that, the community continues to grow. Because I think that what you are building, have built, put out there, and all of that is really cool. It's a really great, it's like a good part of the internet. This is why it's like, besides, puppy videos, this is like why the internet should exist.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But you're doing it too. So yeah, it's really lovely that you're making space for more people who are building the parts of the internet and the parts of the world and the parts of our lives that we need and we enjoy. Yeah.
Well, thank you. It was great to connect again. And thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.